loves, welcome back to the new episode on Catch Up with Lulutho, where the real conversations are shared. So tonight I do have my husband next to me, and I would like to welcome him. But before that, since we have new subscribers on the channel, I would like us to reintroduce ourselves.
All right, my name is Anele, and I'm part of the conversation with the Catch Up with the Luluthos.
Yes, so for those that are new on this channel, we would like to take this opportunity to welcome you, and for the family that's always been consistent, because they're not fans, they're not supporters, but they're family now. We want to say thank you so much. We love you guys. And for the new subscribers, please feel at home. Dine with us, engage with us, and feel free to also do follow us on our social media pages. I go by the name of Lulutho_Lotto on Instagram, and I'm Lulutho Agobile Wapadlotto on Facebook.
Yeah.
And my husband goes by the name of Anele Lotto, both on Facebook and on Instagram. So I do want us to just tackle a few things, and I think this is a very, very important topic that we're about to discuss right now. So if you're really interested in knowing more about relationships, please make sure that you do sit down, relax, grab a coffee or tea or water or whatever, and enjoy this video. So today I wanted us to get an idea on how do we manage our own relationship, and how do we actually define our own relationship. Because I know a lot of people, because we do so much pranks at times, and they always have this perception that hey aba kuyathanda udlalwa kule relationship. So how important is it to define your own relationship, or if you're in a marriage, how do you define your own marriage to yourself?
Thank you very much. I love that question. I think, babies, that we got to be aware and consciously knowing the fact that all relationships are not the same.
Yeah.
So and because of they are not the same, they are unique. So there are things that are going to work for us, and there are things that are not going to work for us. So that's why ndithanda ukuthi ebantwini into yobana rather begin to construct your own relationship the way that you want your relationship to be like. And don't do le nto yabanye abantu copy and paste, but rather construct it. And how do you construct it? By having, I think one of the things in the thing in the Bible, like having commitment in terms of having conversation with your partner, that should be intentional. That should be meaningful, because in that commitment of having conversation with your partner, random conversation, you learn to construct that relationship. Because they can spend time with one another. You could be in a relationship with someone, but that person is not present.
Yeah. Oh, I love what
So what I like to say in Dubana, if you have a commitment in terms of having a relationship discussion, talking with your partner, that way you are very close in constructing what type of relationship you want. And again, I must then say this, baby, because sometimes they like to define their relationship status or their relationship without defining who they are first.
Yeah.
So what is more meaningful? I think you have to be consciously aware who you are.
Yeah.
First, do you know who you are? Because it's complicated and then you find yourself in a relationship because you're not aware of who you are. So that is how I think we can be built this way of developing and defining relationship. That's what we must do. And have a conversation. Like one of the things that I can share with everyone is that our own relationship is that it cool in such a way that we came to a point whereby we are comfortable with one another. And that happened when we spend time together and talk things through together.
Yeah, I like what you're saying.
Like last time sometimes abanye abantu bathanda ukuthi into yobana umuntu wakho akufunekanga azi yonke into. That can be true to some degree.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a meaningful relationship, a more fruitful relationship, there should be no limit to what your partner knows, because you are no longer the other person, you are together.
Yeah.
So you are kind of so it's like, having that kind of thinking, love, in relationship, and have that progressive thinking. Does it make sense?
No, it does make sense. Plus, for instance, I had issues now before we even like in our relationship. I had difficulties in having to define my own relationship because sometimes, you know, abantu abathile, they would then get to judge your relationship, or they would say akakufanelanga la mntu, and azazinto ziyaziphazamise a relationship if ever a person, like you say, is not wholesome and understands themselves first before being in a relationship and start giving and pouring out uthando to another person. And I think this is an issue for many people, that some other people that get distracted because of relationships zabo are being defined in the exterior, without them having to say, okay, fine, Anele ndiyamthanda, and this is what I want to do with him. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. And we allow external factors to determine how to roll out or how to play out a relationship. You we are pressured because of they are driving certain cars, are living in certain places, or they dress like this, they eat like this. And when I come into the relationship with Anele, I'm putting pressure on Anele because of ndibone so friend uthengelwe imoto and I am not being bought a car, okanye so uthengelwe indlu and you know what I mean. So it is very vital that umntu gets to understand and gets to define a relationship yakhe. Yes, very interestingly, baby, and it's very funny that I don't know this other by that time. And one of my friends apparently walked in when I overseas. And so this person now, after seeing the situation, and they made up their mind that, hi man, how do you allow and when and it's those small things of having to define yourself even within a relationship that it doesn't take away Anele when he does home chores and decently. It doesn't take the manhood of Anele for him assisting me with the baby and saying, babes, no, just go out with your friends. It doesn't take anything from him because I know the role Anele plays in this relationship, and he knows the role that I also play in this relationship. So I think that it is very important that as even couples let's define what this relation is built on. You know, I think that before others can be able to say, okay, fine, I respect you guys in this level because we have first outlined and defined our own relationship.
A very strong matured relationship. You are no longer in that phase. You're faced by everything. You're no longer pressured by the external environment. A relationship say cool relationship no trust boundaries.
Yes.
Because both of you, yourself first and your partner, is able to come to a point of saying, Lena indo is on the lungel. Le ayindilungile. And also you are no longer influenced by other things. In any relationship, I like to say this, in any relationship, we got to be able to come to a place whereby we can define it the way that we want. And again, I really want to remind people who are listening to this conversation that in relationships, they are unique, they have their own shape, they are, they are dynamic in their approach. So it's difficult to begin to have a copy and paste methodology or method because I that's why la chomi yako yabona ndivasezitya and it took an issue because a relationship as it defined based on gender. Kwabanye abantu. Gender roles are important to a certain degree and limit. But in a relationship, you don't want to say "Nkandi ngudada andimi embizeni." And then, so you can't begin to define. It's important to have gender roles, but you can't use them to disadvantage the other person that you love.
That's true.
So if ndiyakuthanda, remember what is love. What is love? Love is gentle, love is kind. All of those principles must find expression to a relationship. If you want to build a meaningful relationship, you should be able to do things that are wrapped up by love. Wrapped up by love. That's why it's difficult sometimes to ukumvisa kakubi omnye umuntu omthandayo. Yes, uyakwazi ukumvisa kakubi, but sometimes kuba nzima because of you are conscious about that view, that principle of love. And again, le relationship yami noLutho ayizofana neyakho. Ayizofana neyakho sifocus nothanda.
Ndiyayithanda le nto uyithethayo, baby, because yazi you find that there is nothing wrong with asking if, let's say, for instance, you maybe want to enhance a certain thing. But I think for me, it is quite dangerous when you begin to question your own relationship before even trying out to find solutions on your own.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying that relationships will never be the same.
Yeah.
We encounter different things at different levels in a relationship. So I think at some point, yazi ndandingumntu owayethanda kakhulu ucebisa abantu ngendaba ye relationships. Kanti you might be even giving answer okanye trying to solve an issue ngendlela wrong, even if when you think it's the right solution.
I see.
You know what I mean? So I think iqala phayana into yokuzidefine le relationship yakho. And I like this one thing that you always used to say, that relationships are not for perfect people.
Yeah, no.
Because the reason why ndithetha le nto ndiyithethayo is kulapho these questions start arising because of I see, I don't know because I'm not there, but I see that they're living perfectly. They're on Facebook, pictures up, they're always smiling. And now I'm becoming aggressive, or I'm just having thoughts okanye assumptions ezithile, and I've already made up my mind. So uthi Anele xa ethetha into, already I have an attitude because of the fact that I have started to compare a relationship yam. Oh, he doesn't take me out, or he doesn't give me pocket money, or he's not taking me to vacations because of what I see. Kanti mhlawumbe Anele, there is a love language that he shows in the relationship.
But again, love, I want to pick up on that concept, idea, and all the time I say this because there is a reason why I believe in that thing. Then the relationship lay ukuyo ayikho perfect. Ngenxa yokuba abantu kwabona angabantu abakho perfect abantu. So you uthandana nomuntu ongekho perfect, nawe awukho perfect. So once you understand that idea, we are able to be kind with one another. Because kaloku jonga mamela, wonke umuntu olapha emhlabeni uneza limitations. Wonke umuntu unengxaki, wonke umuntu uneziphoso zakhe. That is the reason why umnida omnye umuntu, because of all of us, we are imperfect. But once you recognize, Lord, that we have these imperfect abilities, these things that are as in our relationship, we are able to confront them. We are able to build one another, because even though that we are not perfect, but imperfect state of imperfect is not our own state. We must be conscious that we are not perfect, but how do we then as people move away from that point? By being consciously aware that we are not perfect. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense, love. And just to add before we close, because I don't want us to make the video long. Bendifuna understand that ziba khona most as factors that actually stimulate the relationship.
Yes.
Can we maybe go into those things?
Yeah, when I'm not Gogo baby, I'm talking about my own experience with this relationship. I think what made us work has been that spending time together,
That's true.
talking together, doing things together. That has worked for us and continue to work to be in COVID-19 because it's from home. And so find in your relationship what works for both of you. Find what contribute in building this relationship. It could be spending time together. It could be cooking together. It could be reading together. It could be going out for picnics. It could be, but you must fight to spend time with your loved one, because if you do not spend time with your loved one, then a relationship yakho iba with danger. Because if you don't spend time nomuntu wakho, ikhona into that will substitute that thing. So find out what works for you. For me and Lulutho is spending time together. You know, we like to be in one space together. We'll come together. Hi man, ndifuna ulala. Athi omnye now khazolala apha. Yeah, so sathana ulala sobabini. Umzekela, you know. We like that and it works for us. Xa omnye uyolala, omnye invite omnye uba makayolala. Siphele silala sobabini kamnandi. So it depends about what works for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Now I was gonna say, lastly, just to wrap up everything, I think we need to get to a point of realizing that we're all humans. That's number one. And let us not become too hard on each other. Like expectations.
Define
them. Okay, expectations, babe.
Yeah.
You can define them. Okanye zingabikho, because the reason why there is no in between is because sometimes we get so many expectations from the partners, and sometimes we don't even hint the person, but we are expecting lo muntu makayazi le nto. Other people, they come from different backgrounds. They don't understand what love language is. So if you can then demonstrate, you are making it very easy for the other person. So yet I'm saying, let us not have too much expectation. Teach one another, because other people, they don't know what love is. They don't know how to define relationships. So demonstrate. If ufuna umuntu makamane kuthengela flowers, just make a hint and say, hey, as there's tandi flowers.
That's why
I love it. Your relationship, so that nomnye umuntu can be aware of the things that you like. Because abanye abantu, I sometimes get DMs athi umuntu yo umuntu wami, we've been together for years, but namhlanje akandazi ba umzekelo funeka angene ne-chocolate umuntu okanye funeka angene ne-flower akazoyazi nawe awumbonisa ungene nala-chocolate okanye ungene ne-flower.
That's why baby into yokubana kufuneka into yokubana sibe aware xa i-relationship seyikhulile, you know, ufika kwi-state whereby you are no longer I, me, you know, you come to a state where you are matured now. You are doing things for one another. You are not I am ndintombazana kule relationship, then feke kube ndim othengelwayo. You remember kaloku relationship yabantu abafuna ukwakhana in all level. So you have to have a kind of a responsibility to build your partner as as a woman or as a man. Both of you must you reciprocate. What I do to Lulutho to show that I love her, Lulutho does the same to me, so that I may not run dry and empty.
Oh, I love this.
Because if I give all the time and Lulutho receives all the time, there will be a moment whereby I am out and dry. Don't need again Lulutho to give to me. So that's why you duplicate what the other person does to demonstrate love. You know, because I know because I'm love and doesn't land. So I've learned that. It took time, but a little bit. Because I have not been schooled in that way, but now I've discovered that what my wife loves. Remember that a relationship, they are not for perfect people, but they are for people who are imperfect. So once we come to a point whereby we understand, we come and understand that both of us we have limitation, then it helps us to develop a model of kindness, and so that we build one another, not just, you know, sometimes we get influenced by external factors. We got to have, again, we have to build, you know, strong boundaries, so that we are able not to be influenced by what comes outside. Because once we allow everything to come in this relationship, it may not stand. So what helps a relationship to stand is when you build strong boundaries that define the limitation and the limitation of your relationship. Boundaries that are going to be able to help you to build strong relationship. And you have to have these other values that structure your relationship. What values do you have? Like values of love, values of conversation, committing to one another. So any relationship that can work must begin to have I think workable values. Something that you want to live for. You know, and might be a relationship in J define it, have values, commit to one another, talk to one another. Whenever there is an issue, just talk to one another.
Yeah, I think this is it for today's episode. Please do check our part 2 because I actually promised them, babes. Let me say it in front of them. I actually promised them a video of what happened in Eastern Cape when so I do want on our next video you can come and then we discuss, because I do have some questions that they also sent to us so that we may answer those questions. But up until today, or up until now, let's just call it an end. We love you guys so much. Please make sure that you do social distancing, cleanse your sanitize, did you cleanse? Sanitize. And also make sure that you do wear your mask. We love you from the Luluthos. Have a wonderful week and a weekend. See you then. Bye guys.
Bye-bye.